It was Constellation, but he says it's not Constellation anymore. It's just Midrange.
Yeah. Sam's pretty good with that blue-white control deck.
Alright guys, so quarterfinal action. I just completely lost my train of thought. That's not surprising. We've got on the right Sam Link. He lost our round 4 winning in, but he did manage to sneak in as the 8th seed on tiebreakers at 2-2. He's playing blue-white control. I see that he is doing better than last round because he's already played his second land, which is one more land than he played the entirety of Game 3 in round number 4. His opponent is Troy King. We haven't seen Troy tonight. I think Troy is the 1 seed. He is playing Junk Midrange. This was a Junk Constellation deck in previous iterations, but he made it clear to me when I asked him what he was playing that this was not Junk Constellation, so probably just Junk value. There's a lot of good cards in that color combination, so I imagine topping out at Elspeth with a fair amount of black removal, and then Courser of Crufix.
Is he running Burmaz?
I do not know. I don't know Troy's exact list. I would imagine he is not, because the color commitments on that's pretty tough. But who knows? On curve Courser here. Be interesting to see how the mid-range deck fares against the control deck, because I don't think this is a tremendously good matchup for Troy, but we'll see. He has a Hero's Downfall deck and he has a Thoughtseize deck, and that goes a long way, but it remains to be seen. So Sam with the detentions here to take care of Courser, trying to shut down card advantage as early as possible, which seems like a fair use of that card at this stage of the game. Elspeth off the top. Elspeth in this matchup not nearly as lucrative as it is in a lot of matchups. It's very hard to protect it against a deck that plays, 3 or more copies of Hero's Downfall. Spike Mo in the chat. So there is a... What happened there? Oh, Deicide, end of turn Deicide on
The D-Sphere?
the D-Sphere. Deicide is a heck of a card.
Yeah.
I think I forget about it. The problem is well, I know why I don't remember it, because it only buys for $1 and sells for 2 or 3 because it's like a 1 or 2 of.
Right, in the sideboard usually.
But it's a tremendous card. You can almost play it main deck.
I guess he is, obviously he is, but yeah.
I don't know if you can play more than 1 copy of it, but it hits everything. It hits Courser, it hits the Gods, it hits D-Sphere, it hits Underworld Connections, it hits Whip of Erebos, it hits Biden of Thassa. All these things are things that you would like to remove from the game if given the option to. For 2 mana and instant speed.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the other 2 mana instant from M15 is going to be Reckoning Enchantments too.
Back to basics?
Yeah,
what is it? It's the Tranquility Effect. It's
it wraths everybody.
Not back to basics. It's back to nature.
Yeah.
So Courser serves in, chumped by a Soldier token. Troy likely going to load up a Hero's Downfall here. While Sam is tapped out, unless he's playing Force of Will, or has a 3-drop in a Disrupting Shoal.
Turns out you see Force of Will a lot in Vintage online.
Yeah, it's because it's a very good card. It's a necessity. I would argue that Force of Will in Vintage is more important than Force of Will in Legacy. There's so many games that hinge on whether or not you have Force of Will.
I won a game this morning pitching Tom Walk to Force of Will.
Force of Will. And I should mention, for those of you watching, we got only 90 watching live, because while I was out there talking with you guys earlier, it was just an empty camera in here. So we usually lose a lot of viewers when there's nothing to watch, which is a fair point. I wouldn't stand and watch a test pattern that long either. But I am joined by Charlie Fulton. Charlie is from South Carolina. And we were talking about it earlier. I think you're the 6th person to have watched the stream and then come to visit us in person, joining the likes of, let me count them down, Allie Browning from Athens, Ohio, Vinny Lucente from Columbus, Eric Fasciano from Columbus, was there another one? Ian Gammon came a few weeks ago. He's from Virginia.
He was driving back to North Carolina or something, right?
Yeah. Then there's yourself, and then Sam as well. It's another situation. I think there's one I'm missing.
It's a great shot. Highly recommend it.
Yes, so if you ever accidentally come to West Virginia because of computer error or divine intervention, I always tell people West Virginia is a wonderful place, but like there's no reason, like you're not, very rarely you're just like, oh, I was in the area.
Right.
Because there's nothing here.
Yeah.
You know, there's no grand reason to come here unless you're from here or have very specific work.
Yeah.
And even if you're coming here for like tourism, like you're not coming to Charleston.
No.
You're coming to either like Davis or like you know, over in the mountains.
Canadian Valley. Yeah. We're here back here visiting family, so.
So Sam is doing a lot of work with these soldier tokens and the Mutavault. Troy down to 14, and Sam has gotten to about turn 10 of this game still at his starting lifetime.
Just one?
Just the one. Garrett always swears that the Mutavaults are not for attacking, they are for killing planeswalkers only. But at some point you got to do what you got to do.
Round 2, I got Jonathan did about 12 to 14 points of damage with his Mutavaults on me, so I beg to differ.
Also joining in chat by not only longtime viewer Spike Mo up in Boston, but Matthias, longtime viewer from down in Chile.
Oh.
Meanwhile, back to the action here. Troy has found an Elspeth of his own, and looks like this is resolving.
With Courser protection, I think he's in pretty good shape now.
I mean, it's a matter of Sam is a D-Sphere deck. Problem is Troy is an Abrupt Decay deck.
Yeah.
I'm just very surprised because I've seen Sam is main decking at least one negate. We saw it earlier, and he has obviously
is that Syncopate on top of it?
Syncopate, yeah. And he played a Dissolve in the last round, so I'm sure he's playing the full complement of those. So he has at least 6 counter spells in his deck, and, and he hasn't really done anything this game. It's surprising that that's stuck, but.
Maybe more. He told me he ran an absurd amount of counter spells when I played against him.
Well, that makes it even more.
He might be around 8 or 9.
Odd. So what are we doing here?
Another Vault.
Mr. Shy Guy in the chat saying first time stream viewer, missed the last 2 weeks on YouTube. That's because I didn't post them, because there wasn't a stream last 2 weeks, due to, at one point, a travel commitment, and then last week, due to me wanting to have 4th of July fun.
A giant slip and slide.
And it was. My grass is super dead.
Is the guy from, is he going to the GP next week, or 2 weeks?
I would imagine. So,
Matthias, or...
Oh, in Chile?
Spike Mo.
Spike Mo's up in Boston, in GP Boston. So Verdict clears out the board, and the Mutavault keeps Elspeth honest, knocking her down to 3, but she's going to keep on keeping on here. Sam needs to find a D-Sphere. There's a Thoughtseize, Celestial Flare, and Verdict. I think Verdict. Take Verdict. Underworld Connections loaded up on a basic forest. Taking up that Elspeth and passing the turn back, it looks like. No?
Plus turn.
There's an argument to be made for drawing a card with Underworld Connections there. If you draw a redundant copy of Underworld Connections, you can go ahead and play it. You know, I don't know what mana he's leaving up that he would need 4 mana for it as opposed to 3. Or if you need to quadruple green for something. So Sam cycles on Azorius Charm, loads up 2 Mutavaults, comes at Elspeth. Troy just chump blocks. And in a turn, Troy's going to go ahead and dig with Underworld Connections. In a pretty good spot here. Active Connections, Elspeth on 4 with a Soldier to defend it. Going to scry off a Temple of Silence. Sam, only 2 Mutavaults as far as action goes. I think down to just 1 card in hand. And it is 2 cards in hand, a Celestial Flare and an Unknown card. The Unknown card should be a business spell, though, considering Sam didn't play a land. If it was land, he probably would have played it, but... Black Dragon MTG followed me on on Twitch. Sometimes I feel like announcing it. I'm trying to get some Twitter followers. I'm stagnated at like 1100. My buddy Nick, who runs Affinity, he has like 1500. He always I gotta get up there.
Hey,
but as he always
100 viewers over 100.
But as he always says, he has more followers, but I have all the celebrities.
Right.
I have the Nathan Holtz and the Patrick
That's
Sullivans.
right. Yeah, I saw you talking to him. He's getting ready to train in some comics. Get some comics.
Yeah, he goes to Comic Con a couple years. I think last year, maybe 2 years ago. He posted like he said he'd gone to the bank vault and got out some Black Border, like some beta duels and stuff.
Oh wow!
And I think he was trading those in for Golden Age comics.
Nice.
I think that stuff is really neat. Like,
yeah, that's really.
I've never read comic books, and I have no affiliation in any sense. I don't really know enough about it to appreciate it, but I think it's. I understand collectibles, and I think it's a really cool thing.
Yeah. What's Elspeth on 5?
Elspeth's on 5. Here's a brain maggot going to net that Celestial Fair. Sam revealing just sandbagging a planes in hand. So if Troy can just ride Elspeth out here, should be in a pretty good spot.
Mm-hmm.
So we got some Mutavaults here. Doomblade, one of them. So one will get blocked and eaten by Mutavault. Troy's still going to take 3 down to 14. Make 3 fresh dudes with the Elspeth activation. Sam in a world of hurt here. Sam is in the problem that he needs first a detention sphere to answer Elspeth. Or a pitching needle or something that, who knows. This should immediately dig for cards.
I think his needle's in his sideboard.
Now, we can +1 here to survive a little bit, but then you just lose your Jace. You're not going to win the game if you do that. What you need to do is -2, and pray you draw a D-sphere. Hallowed Fountain. Plains. All of those cards are awful. You split Temple versus the others, and you take the Temple, and Magic sometimes plays itself. Play your land for turn. Hope that there's a D-sphere on top. If there's not, you have to shove it. I think anything other than D-sphere...
Yeah.
D-sphere... Sphinx's Revelation... Maybe Supreme Verdict.
Yeah, Verdict, yeah.
Well, you're going to need some combination of D-sphere and Verdict to get out of this. Or D-sphere and Jace.
Or do you
and the D-sphere's probably not going to be good enough because I guarantee you Troy has an abrupt decay in his hands.
Right.
But
or are you looking for the rev so you draw both of them? Is that your only out?
What's the username there?
Manic
Man.
Manic
saying
Man.
he's enjoying the stream. Well, thanks for the words of encouragement as we come closely upon our 2-year anniversary. I gotta figure out. Last year I tried to do something. I had to try to do a big thing for 1-year anniversary, and there were 12 people here, and nobody watched online. I tried to give away so much stuff, and nobody. I was just like, wow. All right, so serving in with the team here. Here's the Mutavault. It's going to meet a hero's downfall before blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, by my count, well, maybe 4. 4 at Troy, or 4 at Sam. The rest clear up the Jace.
Yeah, I think he's in pretty good shape now.
And Sam is in a world of hurt. Now, Verdict isn't out here. D-Sphere is a hard out. Verdict at least buys him a turn. Well, those are all going to be 3/3s.
Yeah. Oh.
Now,
is he taking the tokens?
That seems like a mistake to me.
Yeah. Well. Did he take the tokens?
Yes.
He did.
Well, how many did he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He wouldn't have died next turn. Yeah, that's a mistake. You take the Elspeth and pray that the D-sphere doesn't get immediately removed, and then you hope you can find a Jace or a Supreme Verdict to clean things up later.
Yeah.
I mean, this does buy him a lot of time, but he's still going to need to find. Oh.
What does he have in his hand? Oh.
So that means we have another Elspeth.
So he flushed one and then. Yes. Oh no, he ultimated her, and then he's playing a second Elspeth, right?
Yep. Which is backbreaking. Attack in for 3 with a now 3/3 Brain Maggot. Well, he's got one turn. He can draw. He can draw a Verdict or another D-sphere here. To be fair, this exact same thing would have happened if he D-sphered the Elspeth.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't have had the emblem.
Yeah. He's fighting.
Yeah, there's a question in the chat. There may have been exactly 10 damage out of the tokens. I think I may have miscounted tokens.
Yeah, so
that's the only, and that would make a lot more sense than that line if it was exactly lethal. Also, Chad Malto in the chat asking if I'm going to Grand Prix Boston. I am not. I would like to because it is Legacy, and a lot of people I know are going to be there.
It's modern, right?
Oh, it's not. Yes, modern. I'm sorry. But I am not going.
Yeah, because I don't think he removed any of the tokens, right? So.
All right, stand corrected. Apologies to Sam. So, a Sphinx's Revelation helps in Sam's attempts to climb back out as a Sin Collector. Reveals a hand. I believe we've already taken the Sphinx's Rev out of his hand, but Guildgate, Charm, Guildgate, Mutavault, Island, Plains. Sam is drawing all the lands. He cannot complain about being land screwed this go around. Matthias is suggesting a more interesting trip.
Oh, that's a road trip.
No offense to Boston, but the trip down to Santiago for that Grand Prix in Chile.
What Planeswalker would you dress up as for Halloween, Zach?
This year, my Halloween costume has already been decided, and it is wrestling based, and that's why I'm regrowing my beard because I'm going to go as Bray Wyatt. Did you see my thing from last time, where I was Duck Dynasty?
No, I didn't.
You haven't seen that picture?
No.
I think I have it on my computer. Oh, I think I may have deleted it today.
What happened there?
What?
Did he de-sphere the tokens again?
No, they drew a verdict.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
So Sam is fighting the good fight here.
Yeah.
Well, this is the unfortunate part where, though we want to see a good game of Magic, at some point you start inadvertently cheering against the control deck because it does result in longer and longer matches.
What is it? Are our life totals off?
Oh, yeah, I just haven't updated.
Yeah.
I do these manually, and there's no real there's a good question for why do I keep track of these life totals. It's just more aesthetically pleasing, but...
yeah.
There's a Blood Baron. That's going to be very difficult for Sam to deal with, as his only answers to it are, in fact, Supreme Verdicts. And I was going to say he'd already used the majority of them, but...
Tell him he has to pay for the verdict. They're saying you can't downfall in response to Mutavault becoming a creature, and you can't downfall in...
Man, I was not paying attention at the time. I was sorting out something else, so there's no way I can go back and...
He's got 1, 2, 3. Is that 4 tap there?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to say, and I literally don't know what's going on.
So he's got it tapped there. See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, that was. I think he activated a. Nice. In here, because I don't know their lists. Sometimes the junk deck has Lifebane zombies in the board. Perhaps additional disenchant type effects. Golgari charm, so to speak. Sam starts off strong, basic island. Question on Twitter, on the chat. Let's try it again. Question in the chat. Do I play Moto? I do not. At some point, I might branch into it, but as of right now, I just cannot talk myself into it. So Syncopate, protecting Sam's hand from a Thoughtseize. But what about this Sin Collector? It sticks, revealing Verdict Jason, 2 Sphinx's Revs, and a D-Sphere. So it's Verdict or Rev. I would imagine you'd take the Verdict here just because of the redundant Rev effects. And Rev at this point in the game is not very good. Sam doesn't even have another land, so he can't Rev for 1. And Troy agrees. He takes the Sweeper. Sam knocks the top of his deck and hopes it's a land. Oh, it is. But he doesn't have double blue to cast his Jace. Unfortunate scenario for Sam. So, lives the dream, top decking lands he needs. Does not give him the color requirements he needs to play his Jace the Mind Sculptor. Troy, I can hear him reciting the cards he saw off the Thoughtseize, trying to decide if he wants to load up this Mutavault and attack in for 4. He decides he does. That is the correct decision, and Sam goes down to 16.
Were you surprised they reprinted Thoughtseize?
No. I thought it was going to be in Modern Masters. When it wasn't in Modern Masters, it became obvious it was going to be. I thought in the core set, but then in Theros made sense. They had to reprint it for modern purposes. It's perfectly fine card. It's a very good card, but it's not broken. It's
a lot of people like to cry about it.
It's a very strong card. It's a lot better than most other cards in Standard at any point, at any Standard. But I mean, it's not broken. But when they reprint 4 ofs in Legacy in Standard, it's probably going to be good enough.
Yeah. I think it with Lifebane Zombie is what provided all the green heat.
People don't like cards that directly infringe on their ability to do what they want to do.
Right.
Discard directly impacts your game plan. Land destruction directly impacts your game plan. Counterspells directly impact your game plan. And those are the things that, people don't like about Magic. The problem is, no one cares what you don't like.
You're trying to win the game, right?
Yes, it's a competitive endeavor. And here's an Ajani Mentor of Heroes. Into an empty board, basically. Why? This is... Everything about what we've just done is incorrect, in the sense that if we're going to play Ajani and put counters on something, why did we put the Ajani up to 5? Yes. And why did we do this after we attacked? Oh, because the +1 is the.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense. For some reason, I talked myself into thinking that the.
He's got 2 +1s.
Yeah. It's because I'm stupid, Charlie. That's that's why I was confused. It's because I don't have a firm grasp on reality, which no one should be.
This is a burrito talking.
Well, the burrito or whatever. Mutavault loaded up. Tick up a Johnny. Ooh, look at that synergy. Got a 5/5 Mutavault and a 5/4 Sin Collector, which means Sam. He's down to a smooth 6. 6-ball, corner pocket. And he is not long for this world.
Oh, so the counters stay on the Mutavault, too.
They do indeed. Nothing
Yeah,
about a land
awesome.
says it can't have +1/+1 counters on it. Now, if it was an enchantment, it would fall off.
Okay.
If it was an enchant creature or an aura.
Right.
But counters can go on whatever. So what does Sam need here? Well, he needs a removal spell, and he needs a Celestial Flare. I'm trying to figure out how an Azorius Charm would work too.
I think he needs a Doom Blade.
Well, that's going to be tough for him to cast.
Yeah.
Getting rid of the Sin Collector doesn't really do that much because he's dead to the Mutavault.
Yeah.
He also needs to get rid of that Ajani.
He's in a bad spot.
There is a D-Sphere. This is also a tricky spot where, assuming if he chooses the Sin Collector, an Abrupt Decay on the D-Sphere also just brings the Sin Collector back for another into the board activation.
Ooh.
That's always the tricky part about.
Yeah.
T-Palms24 now following me on Twitch. I'm just going to announce them all. So if you want to get your name announced on camera, I mean that's true. I won't repeat it because it's a little bit sophomoric, but. So a D-Sphere does answer a Johnny. Troy likely does not have a Deicide or an Abrupt Decay because he had the mana to do it at the end of Sam's turn, chose not to. Mutavault loads up. Let's swing in here. Celestial Flare will save him a turn because he'll go to exactly 1. Azorius Charm, as we said, also an option here. You put the Azorius Charm on the Mutavault, that way you don't get Sin collected again. Troy pondering a response here, not sure what he has, what he can do here.
Yeah, it's one out. Sinitrell says land plus Fated Retribution. Not sure if he's running it or not.
Hey, buddy.
Turning you your...
How'd it go?
It went well. I attempted to assemble Deadeye Navigators as conscripts, and I got the Blasphemous Act, a huge board away, and then I got killed by Sam's Guy's Revenge Death Shadow commander thingy for 21 direct commander damage. So
What a turd.
happens, you know.
Yeah.
How's the magic been over here?
Pretty good. It's blue-white, so it's Comborn. Sam is up against it here. He's at 1, and he is facing down a 5/4 Sin Collector.
Does he have Worship in play?
No. Garrett lost a match at the Grand Prix in Richmond because of a Worship.
Oh, really? What creature was keeping... What was it? Did have to have a
It
creature.
it wasn't so much. I don't know what it was. It wasn't a combo. It was just a sideboard out of a pod opponent. When you don't like Garrett's deck is a pod deck, so he has like very limited removal. So like he's never getting rid of all of their creatures. As we see concession from Sam, just couldn't get her done.
Nice job of making top 8 though, Sam. All the way here from Seattle. Did you say that?
Yes, he is from Seattle.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's
Yeah.
dial back briefly. He is not here specifically for the stream. He has watched the stream in Seattle. He is in Weston doing a psych internship for the summer, and so decided to come. He goes to Charleston all the time. He knew about the stream. And he said, "Come down." Adding to the list of people who have seen the stream and then come to visit us. Charlie's another one as well.